welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a quick lesson on brand voice and talking to your customers. So if you're still sending emails that begin with "Dear valued customer," I really hate to break it to you, then you're doing it wrong and you're not going to get any engagement with your customers whatsoever, really. Unsurprisingly, your customers don't feel valued. In fact, it's probably the quickest way to make one of your customers feel less valued. Um, in 2020 and going forwards, people don't just want personalization, they simply expect it, especially if, with kind of the myriad of systems that you've got that offer you the opportunity to put this in place. If you're a retail company and someone's bought from you before, why on earth are you choosing to send your customers an email with "Dear valued customer" on it? At the end of the day, you've got their first name, you've got their last name, and you know exactly what they've bought. So personalizing it is really the simplest thing you can do for your customer, and it's really not even that hard. Most email softwares nowadays will let you personalize it with a click of a button. In fact, it's probably harder to put in "Dear valued customer" than it is to personalize an email to your mailing list. So at the end of the day, what can you do to improve how you talk to your customers online? You can get personal. At the end of the day, people feel like they don't have a lot of time. So getting straight to the point and being creative are surefire ways to have your customers open your emails and read your emails. And at the end of the and what you've got to remember is that when you're sending people emails and mail shots, you're asking that person to stop what they're doing, take time out of their day, and read your email. So if it's a load of waffle and it's not very good, then they're going to be quite annoyed and feel quite cheated that you've taken time out of their day to send them something that's really just a waste of their time. And unless you've really defined your brand voice in the past as being corporate and kind of overly gibberish based, leave the company jargon, the industry jargon, leave it at the door. Don't even put it in the email. Your email should really read simple, easy to read from someone that might not even be in the industry. Adding a load of gibberish and garbage and jargon to it is effectively garbage. People don't want to listen to it. People don't want to read it. And at the end of the day, they want it to be quick, digestible, so they can get back to what they were doing. So here are 4 don'ts that you need to have when you're dealing with and talking to your customers online. So the first one is, don't make it all about you. What do your customers want? What are your customers going to get out of it? If you don't give them this simple bit of information, what's the point in sending the email in the first place? Don't use 2 words where 1 will do or 13 where 4 will do. You're just dragging it out for the sake of it, and your customers aren't going to thank you for it, quite frankly, because again, you're kind of just dragging out the information that you could have given them a lot quicker and stopping them getting back to something they want to do. Number 3 is, don't dress up bad news or even no news as good news. There's nothing worse than clickbait, and you'll see that across anywhere. Where how often do you feel cheated if you've gone onto an email that will say, "Great news, it's this, this, and this," and it turns out to not be it turns out not to be brilliant news. You just kind of feel a bit cheated inside, and it just doesn't feel right, and you shouldn't be doing it as a brand. And the other thing you definitely shouldn't be doing is writing like a Victorian nobleman. At the end of the day, people want to be spoken to, and effectively in a conversation where you can talk to them and they feel like they're being spoken to on their level, rather than having to get a time machine back 100 years, or 100 years or more now, so that simply so they can understand what you're saying. So a few things where you can improve and what you should be doing when defining your brand voice and using your brand voice to talk to your customers. So you should be focusing on your customer and explain what's in it for them. Again, this kind of goes back to that first don't, as where if you're not identifying to your customer what they're getting out of it, it simply just seems self-serving and relatively pointless for the information they want. Um, Secondly, just use simple, straightforward language that anyone off the street could just come and read the email and realistically understand what's going on and what you're trying to get at. Using all that jargon that I mentioned before just kind of alienates possibly some of the more experienced members of your mailing list, especially people who are new to an industry. Having overly jargon based emails really just alienates them. So that's a long term relationship that you've damaged quite quickly that could realistically have been quite fruitful for you down the line. Um, Thirdly, talk directly to your customers using words like you, your. It really makes customers take notice because you're talking directly to them rather than just kind of to their general area. You wouldn't kind of go into somewhere and just talk generically to a crowd or unless you're like keynote speaker or something like that. But you even then you try and make it so that each person feels like you're talking to them, even though they're just part of a bigger group. Um, and number four, a kind of a key way to try and do three even is simply personalize, personalize, and personalize. And that's what tip four is that you've got their information, they've given you their information. If you've got it there and to hand, it's really difficult to avoid using it. So why even bother trying to avoid it? It's there for you to use, and they've given you permission to use it. So use it. And number five is write how your customers speak. If there's nothing that's going to make someone feel slightly more jaded than going into a brand that they've got to know and have become used to seeing certain ways of talking to, and then having everything completely change. If you've got the information available and you know your target audience down to a T, then you should really be engaging with them on a level that they understand rather than just on a kind of a generic level that you've kind of decided to make up on the spot. So if you like these videos, don't forget to press the subscribe button below. Don't forget to press the notification bell as well, so you'll get told every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to comment what you would add to this, to those kind of do's and don'ts lists. And maybe down the line, I'll even add a couple in an updated video. Hopefully, I will see you all soon, and enjoy your week.